Hey there, it's Michelle from Voltapp. What's up, no-coders?
Today we're going to see how to use Voltapp's data mode, which will allow you to create a real advanced database system, a secure and scalable system which will allow you to manage users, data, and files. This system is also transferable to private servers, and finally, numerous policy options allow it to comply with the most important security standards for deployment in larger organizations. Voltapp Data is therefore the most flexible and powerful system in no-code. Let's take a look to see how that will benefit you in your next app project. So, let's start by going to a new Voltapp project. We see the data mode, which will allow me to drive my database. Then let's go to Supabase, a database tool that we're going to pilot with the data mode. I have already created my Supabase account and I have created my organization. I'm going to click on New Project, and then I'm going to select my test organization. I'm going to give my database project a name, New App. And now I have to enter a password for my database. Be careful to remember this password because you won't be able to find it after this step. However, you can reset it later. Then I'm going to validate it by clicking on Create New Project. I can start copying the API keys, but my database is still being created. It is a series of information to copy in the data mode of Voltapp to allow it to control Supabase. I first copy by the key anon, which is the anonymous key to stimulate user accounts in the app. I then go into the data mode and paste it in anon. Then I do the same for the service role key, which will stimulate the behavior of an administrator of the app. Once my new project has been created, I will then arrive on the page of my database project, New App. Then I have to go to the Settings in the menu on the left, then to API submenu in order to find the connection keys of my database. Then I also copy the JSON Web Token, JWT. And don't forget to copy the URL of the project. I then go into the submenu of Supabase called Database to copy the connection information. I will start by copying host, which is the host address. I then copy the database name. Then I'm going to copy the port. I will copy user. And finally, for the password, you will have to remember the password that you created when you created the database. And as you can see, the checked boxes indicate that the information has been taken into account. Now we have to go back to Supabase to create the tables of its database, which constitute different subparts where the data is stored. I go into the left menu to Table Editor, and then create a new table. From the side menu that just opened, I will give it a name. For example, Product Storage, so storage. Then in description, I explain what the table contains. The box RLS means row level security, which means that you can put security rules according to the roles of the users, so that a random user can only access the data to which they have been given access to via these rules. We're going to create one of these later. At the bottom, we start to structure the columns called fields of our table. Now, we could import data from a spreadsheet with the Import Data via Spreadsheet button, but instead we're going to create it from scratch. Let's keep ID for the first field, which is the identifier of the row. It will be a number with an integer with 8 bits, for example, represented by the int8 type. The number of bits allows us to define the precision of the number. We'll leave the box primary checked. The primary key allows you to define this data as a reference for all of the other data of the same line. I can leave the second column, the second field created at which is a data type. Then the third field, I will put quantity with type int 8. Then for the fourth field, I will put price and a floating number, float 4, which indicates the precision after the decimal point. Now I forgot to dedicate a field to the product name, so I can add product name. But as we are in the names table, I will just indicate that the field is called name. Now there are other types of datas, like booleans, which can only be true or false. And for example, I'm going to indicate if I can offer a discount on a product, if it's discountable, true or false. I'll put false in capital letters by default. By the way, I had not indicated the type of data name, which is a text. And now I can finally save by clicking Save. And my table has been generated.
Join us for our next video where we'll continue to explore the world of no-code with Voltapp.